James, front page of The Express. The Defence Chief tells Lineker, put a sock in it.
Yeah, so Defence Secretary Grant Shapps has told Gary Lineker to put a sock in it and stop pushing his anti-Tory agenda on social media, so specifically on Twitter, now known as X. This row about Gary Lineker has been going on for some time. He's the host of Match of the Day, big BBC One football programme. He never brings politics into his Match of the Day presenting, but a lot of Tory MPs have it in for him because he's seen to be getting too political on Twitter. I think there's a BBC spokesman's criticised him now as well, saying, he's allowed to talk about the issues, but he's not allowed to lay into specific MPs because he was taking the mickey out of Grant Shapps, calling him for Shapps, because Grant Shapps previously allegedly pretended to be four different people.
Not allegedly.
It was proven.
It was proven, don't worry.
What kicked this off again? And there will be a debate, as I said 20 minutes ago, people will have their opinions. We're all for free speech. If you work for a broadcaster and we're paying that, do we have this? I get all that. This Samir Shah, the would-be next chairman, Anna, he's kicked this off again by saying he might have breached rules. That's why this is back in the papers again today, isn't it?
Yeah, he told MPs that Gary Lineker, quote, shouldn't be using his status at the BBC, which is funded by taxpayers, to promote his political takes. I think a lot of people agree with that. And, my favourite bit of this row is Grant Shapps telling Gary Lineker that he should stick to football and stop meddling in politics. And if he does that, then Grant Shapps will also stick to politics and not talk about football. And I think this should be just a rule. That's how footballers not talk about politics. And no politician should ever be allowed to talk about football again, considering how embarrassing it is every time.
I could not disagree more. I think it's so important that we see people in the public eye talking about politics because, we're all voters at the end of the day. We're all part of the electorate. I think it's a vital part of a democracy, although, I do get your point. Whereas the issue here is there's two issues, right? He's not supposed to be political. Now, is it political to say that Grant Shapps has had four personalities? Is it political to say Jonathan Gullis might not be able to read? It's mean-spirited, it's critical.
But his political
of the
things are about Rwanda. He keeps weighing in on immigration.
I think he's allowed to do that, though, because it says the guidance does allow people to talk about issues that matter to them. So I think he's allowed to sign the thing. It's when it gets this kind of puerile kind of tittle-tattle. I think he should probably refrain from that so that he can continue to comment on this stuff he does care about, but not get into these kind of squabbles on Twitter.
It's really easy to get into
unedifying.
Well, the BBC
We've all done
made a complete rod for their own back, haven't they? Let's be perfectly honest. They backed down last time. If they felt that he was breaking their rules last time, they tried to censor him. They took Match of the Day off for all of 24 hours. I know Shearer righted. They all jumped in and said, no, we're not doing this. He's our mate. We do a podcast and he's a great broadcaster. But if the BBC and Tim David had a pair at that point and they wanted to make a stand, they didn't. And the thing about Lineker is going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing because the BBC are spineless when it comes to this. It's all him now. That's it. I'm bored of it, really, if I'm honest.
They do need to have a rule and everyone needs to be sticking to it. It shouldn't be anyone exceptional in this respect.
Absolutely.